Hello everyone and welcome to Formula Drift's Inside Clips presented by Men's Journal for the week of August 16th. We are opening up the show once again to congratulate Chelsea Denofa on his third win of the season from round number 5 at Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington. After being applauded for his latest victory, the talented and always honest Denofa said thank you, but that wasn't how he wanted to win back-to-back. However, he'll chalk it up to karma swinging his way for those former BMW motors blowing from his previous program, which gave his competitors a bye run. He also said that his qualifying strategy in Monroe, of course, had the potential to be risky, but he steadfastly believed that his RTR team, their Mustang, and his driving had the best odds of success qualifying 26th, and said, when you believe in your program, you can take some risks that people don't normally have the time to think about. We tried a theory and it worked out well for us. Each event is different though. Chelsea's always been transparent with his low-lying level of comfort at Monroe and mentioned that he did his best to overcome the parts of the track that he didn't mesh with, saying, "The team helped me dial the car in, but overall, I never really got a great run off of the bank all weekend. Unfortunately, it still hasn't clicked for me." Well, even after a win. Lastly, Chelsea is creating amazing content on his YouTube channel, so I encourage all of you passionate and hungry fans to check out his channel for the thoughtful and in-depth content he's creating. The man in second place in Monroe was the Granite State's Ryan Turk, who said that before the final battle with Chelsea Denofa, as he was warming up his Nitto tires, he realized the water temp was rising fast and not stopping. After radioing to crew chief Brian Hartsock, together they decided that they needed to call a 5-minute competition timeout. Prior to this, the team had an issue during top 32 with a part that failed and could have been the contributing factor to the engine eventually having a head gasket issue. But they aren't quite sure if that was the cause, and even though they gave it their best to fix it, the issue was terminal and they would have had to replace the engine in the time given. So the 5 minutes was just not enough time. Since the event, the Corolla has a fresh engine and is ready to rock for the next round in St. Louis. For the first time ever, the hard-charging Dylan Hughes finished third and said that not only has he finally been able to process his success, but that the podium finish gives him so much more momentum and confidence moving forward. Dylan said, "I'm hopeful we can continue along this path. This is a massive accomplishment for myself as a driver and something I've been looking forward to for many years. I play that day over and over in my head and try my best to learn from it, figure out what was working and why." Well, not only was Dylan driving in front of close family and friends in Seattle, but in his words, he went out early to Portland to spend time working on the car. We ended up switching our fuel to Ignite Red ethanol, as well as installed a new set of Brian Crowler camshafts in my 2JZ. We put the car back on the dyno with Jason from Link ECU and found a bunch more torque in the tune. We also made some pretty aggressive suspension changes for the weekend, and that turned the car into a whole new animal. It was hard to believe that it was the same car as the prior round, but it was easy to adapt to it. Confident in his driving, Dylan will make some more suspension changes and go send it in St. Louis. I checked in with Ken Gucci, who has had a roller coaster of a season, and mentioned that it's difficult to admit that a top 16 finish would be a breakthrough round for him, but after considering the non-stop mechanical gremlins he's had, he said it was a huge step forward. Here's a recap of how it's been going for him. He said, "It all started in round 1 at Atlanta, where my turbo decided to grenade itself during our top 32 battle. From there, we've had our problems after problems, from valve timing control going out to premature clutch wear issues. We were aware of some of the issues, but couldn't address them while the car was stuck in the East Coast area. Because of the way the FD rounds are scheduled, it didn't make sense financially to bring the car back and fix it with a window of 2 weeks. So basically, for 2 out of the 4 rounds, we knew we'd be at a huge disadvantage. That is, until Seattle. After Erie, we drove straight through to Gretty to get working on the car with no time to waste. We addressed all the issues and came up with backup plans and strategies so we could keep the car running. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to go test, so Evergreen Speedway would be the test bed. Throughout practice, our car seemed to get better and better. After each run, with my team making the necessary adjustments, we got up to speed. We beat Taguchi in the top 32 and faced the number one qualifier, Michael Essa, in the top 16. The only area we lacked in was overall speed at Outer Zone 1, but other than that, the car was flawless. So with our mechanical gremlins out of the way, we can now focus on getting grip and speed dialed in for St. Louis. I'm excited. We're excited for you too, Ken. Finally, as Dean Carney drove out to the top 16 driver intros, the team had a thermostat that was stuck in the closed position and overheated the motor. The team, concerned it was a head gasket issue, started tearing down the motor to see what they were battling against. They quickly figured out it was a thermostat issue and began replacing the water pump. Dean said being on the left side of the bracket didn't give us much time as we were the third battle in top 16. We got it back together and made the line without doing much warm out in the burnout box, as I was still concerned this issue might be more than we initially thought. Lights went out and we chased Jeff to the bank, and upon entry, the car kicked a power steering belt and I lost power and I was on a collision course with the wall, which knocked off both left corners from the car. After we got the car back to the pits, we noticed in the rushing to get to the grid for the battle that belt was in fact routed incorrectly and didn't have the required tension on it. We live and we learn. No one's fault, it's just one of those things that happen. On to the next one. Good luck in St. Louis, Dean. Lastly, Formula Drift has issued a statement, and you can find the press release I'm about to read under the news section on the website. It states, with the recent addition of onboard telemetry data on Formula Drift vehicles, Formula Drift has conducted various internal reviews of competition battles to determine if judging conclusions reached are consistent with data findings. In the Grade 8 battle between Odi Bakchis, car number 723, and Von Gittin Jr., car number 25, a vehicle collision occurred in which Odi Bakchis was deemed at fault for the collision. After review of the onboard telemetry data, the following findings were determined to be true. Number 1, car 723 did not exceed the visual decel criteria in the moments prior to the collision with car 25. Number 2, car 25 did not have an increasing speed relative to car 723 in the moments prior to the collision with car 723. Number 3, car number 25 maintained slightly tighter radius, which was noticeable from the beginning of outside zone 3. Due to the fact that the telemetry data indicates that there is not a sufficient deceleration from car 723 at the point of impact to be the primary cause of the collision, Formula Drift has required the judges to vote on whether they would maintain their vote on the original cause of collision or amend it. The votes are as follows. Judge Ryan Lontaine, not at fault. Judge Brian Eggert, not at fault. And Chris Ewell, not at fault. Further, because of this new ruling, Formula Drift competitive staff has decided to award car 723 with 13 championship points. The 13 points are the equivalent of points had Odi won the battle. Car 25 points will remain unchanged. Okay gang, that was a long one, but that's it for this week's update. A reminder to everyone out there that's trying to accomplish a goal, remember that great things take time. Don't give up. Love to you all from your friends here at Formula Drift's Inside Clips.